어제 독국물이라고 해야 되나? 찾고 끝냈었고 뭐 해야 되지? 아니 근데 비품 시료도 없고 환기장치를 써야 되는데 환기장치 맞나? 보이지라는 이유가 뭐 생겼나?
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like
에이
ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not
다
seem to
알고
be so
있어요,
interested in
선생님.
plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your
아버지
application.
때문에
You
거절당했죠.
truly are as clever as they say.
뭘 대단해
Yes,
뭘
that's
훔쳐본
correct.
건데
And in fact, my father was strongly
들어가지
against the
말라더
idea. He did his best to ruin my plans. Although I
직원실
almost did
들어가서
succeed.
훔쳐본 건데 뭘
But my
대단해.
dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
확실히 말하네. 아버지가 망쳤다고.
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Thank you, young man.
처음
We shall see you
들어본다고?
again soon.
왜 처음 들어보지?
Brave Toby, the best known.
에이씨, 경공 칭찬 적당히. 얘도 물어볼 거 있나?
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him
그런
cleaning
것 같아.
tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was.
Oh yes.
무능하진
He forced
않은데
his son to work here.
그냥 식물에
He never
관심이
missed
없는
an
사람 아니야?
opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are
아니
you able to
해군에
elaborate
거의
on that?
Well,
성적이
for
좋다고
example,
그랬었는데
with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
근데
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work. For Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. and as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father, so it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
결국 돈으로 가로챈 거네.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this.
뉴스에도
syndicate.
아니 뉴스란다. 신문지에도 있었는데 모른다고?
There is a bust of Montague
아예
Dunn
관심
in the
없나
nursery.
본데.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
당황스러운데?
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
하루 이틀 빼먹고 보니까 뭔 사건인지 모른다고? 간단하게 설명하자면은 여기에 이 식물원에 이제 그 식물들, 약간 좀 유명한 이제 식물들 전시하려고 했는데 그게 이제 도둑 맞아 버린 거야. 사라져 버렸지. 그래서 그 의뢰를 받고 이제 찾아왔는데 내용을 듣다 보니까 여기 이제 식물원 이제 관리하던 원장이 이제 심장마비로 사망을 했는데 좀 냄새가 나는 거지. 심장마비가 아니라 왠지 살인사건 같은 냄새가. 그래서 이제 식물 없어진 거 하고 이제 원장이 어떻게 왜 죽었는지에 대해서 이제 사건 조사를 하고 있는 거야. 원래 여기 전시되어 있어야 될 이제 식물들이 사라지고 그래서 돌아다니고 있다. 식물도 찾고 원장의 죽음의 원인 그리고 이유에 대해서 알고 해결을 해요. 어제 진짜 완전 초반만 하고 끝내가지고 그게 끝이야. 내가 얘기한 게 이제 시작하는 거지. 좀 뭔가 있나에 대해서도 알아보고.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
이 자식들이
Thank you, miss.
누군가 거짓말하고 있는데? 목욕탕 초반 부분? 그거는 어제 끝나버렸지. 그거는 결국 뭐 그냥 가까웠던 사람한테 다 가까웠잖아. 별거 없었어. 뭐 해야 되지? 아, 어제 초반에 하다가 끊어버려가지고. 신문이면 신성연구에 가야겠다.
If I go there, Toby will wait for me in the cab.
아, 마차 안에서 기다려야 된다고? 아, 미안해. 집에 갈게 그러면. 내가 좀 배려가 없었다. 우리 땡땡이한테.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let
Well.
us find someone who could help us.
무술하는데? 우리 땡땡이 집에 보내주자. 저게 신성연구예요? 수색견? 애완견이야? 근데 수색도 해. 우리 땡땡이.
Oh dear, Toby. I wasn't aware that you were Watson's new literary agent.
냄새 잘 맡는. 온
Let us
김에
determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to
시험관
perform an analysis.
2번 넣어야 되나?
This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens.
나 그냥 따르면 안 돼?
A colorless, water-based liquid.
무색 액체. 냄새?
Quite a strong
꽃향기.
floral aroma.
마신다고요? 아니야, 마시지 마. 아니야, 마셔.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It
꺼.
has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
그러면
So
이게
what
독이
do you
아니라
think it is?
요걸로 이제 화학적 반응, 식물에게 이제 반응을
Let us
일으켜서
vaporize the
식물이
liquid
뭐
and see
독성
what
뭐
happens.
뿜는 그런 거겠지? 굳었다.
Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
몰라,
Wagner's
알아봐야지.
reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a pipette.
알았어, 알았어. 뻘개졌어.
Red sediment.
예상대로
Just as I suspected.
뭔데요?
This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out
만병통치약?
unusual
그게 뭐야?
experiments in the garden's laboratory.
그게 뭔 말이야?
My analysis table.
다 했나? 가자. 그게 뭔 말이지?
A fragment of a flower pot.
뭘 숨겼?
Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here.
어?
The Kew Gardens symbol.
이게 왜 여기 있지? 자식들이 훔쳤나?
Locked. Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock.
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance. Do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis.
녹색 현자?
Welcome you are.
좀도둑이?
To introduce myself, I shall. I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
누가 봐도 목에 문신. 산, 화학, 굳은 살. 둘러봐도 됨?
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate, glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge, are permitted to
유럽
physically
사람들이
enter our
아시아인들을
vegetable
도대체 어떻게
kingdom
보는지.
and its wisdom. And
글쎄요.
to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy they are.
뭐야?
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy.
저거 아니야, 인자? 아,
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower
따로
pots
있네.
in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search. Sacrilege.
아니,
No, really now. There was a
뒤지다니요.
theft
그냥
of
보니까
plants at
있던데.
Kew Gardens a matter of days ago. And we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
에?
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility.
결국 가져가긴 가져갔다는 거네.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find out.
그럼 저건 뭔데?
I beg your pardon.
화분은?
And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so
아,
we stole
없어서 다른 걸
theirs.
훔쳐왔다. 미친 거 아니야?
Green Grand
그게
Mystic,
녹색 현자가 할
we
짓이야?
are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Our God King's name is Treewan. Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good. I like you. Here is the
성금이요?
holy key to the
몇이나
western
드세요?
place. Holy donation can you
심심해요.
make whenever you so wish.
Thank you so much.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer
식물의
substance.
정수?
From the burdens of life it helps to free.
But of course.
Raw sap, it is called. It is near the entrance.
응? 아까 얘기했던
Well,
건데.
we will leave you to your meditation. That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mystic spoke of. It is rather delicious, and of an excellent
Delicious.
quality.
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like a form of cocaine.
미친 마약 아니야 이거?
The list of plant friends and benefactors, lawyers, well-known manufacturers, political leaders.
미드에서도 예, 그죠? 그거요? 그거 니코틴. 그거는 니코틴. 니코틴 패치. 담배 때문에.
This door is locked, but I can try to open
근데
it.
마약은 하긴 했어요. 아마 주사로 넣었을걸요? 따로? 아닌가? 그럴걸요? 그래요? 본지 오래돼서 저도 가물가물합니다. 니코틴 패치만 했는지 마약을 했는지. 처음보단 조금 복잡해지긴 했어. 이게 아닌가? 아, 이거네. 됐다. 근데 이거 막 따도 돼? 사람 바로 옆에 있는데?
This must be Triwan, the Divine Syndicate's god.
신도?
Osmosis and photosynthesis.
These instruments are used
편.
for smoking opium.
쓰레기 아니야 여기? 여기서 마약 제조하고 있는 거야?
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens. That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments. A vast amount of opium.
아이 뭐 가지 못해 앞으로. 다 봤나? 이 애벌레?
Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
아까 봤던 애벌레인데.
A tropical plant. Nothing of
라플레시아.
interest. A tropical plant. Nothing of interest.
왜 특별한 게 없어? 아, 볼 필요 없네. 아이씨, 내가 봤던 것 같은데 잘못 봤구나.
A tropical plant. A tropical plant.
아예 못 찾은 건가?
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest.
없는데?
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest.
진짜 말대로 못 찾았나?
These three plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them.
가져가도 돼? 오씨, 다 챙기는데? 챙겨도 돼? 싸우는 거 아니야? 야심이 또 있어? 해미쉬의 동기. 공루를 가로채겠다고 생각을 했다. 그래서 몬테규 던을 죽였다. 실험하고. 알버트의 동기. 해군이 되려고 했는데 아버지가 그걸 막아서 죽였다. 이건 모르겠다.
Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment.
이상한 거 배우고 왔어.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to
그럼
find out
독성 물질
exactly
뽑는 거
how it
아니야?
could be done. I shall begin now.
뽑는데. 뽑는
Watson,
거 아니야?
if you are at all
뿜, 뿜,
optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed. No reaction. My word. It shot a
가시를
spike
쏜다.
at me after I stabbed it with a pin. I imagined that its reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack.
싫어하고.
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid.
이것도 그냥 바늘 쏘나? 아, 숨네.
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. How interesting. What a strong and effective defensive mechanism. I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating.
아, 얘네.
It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is
입을
open, it will
벌려두라고?
reveal a little more. I am interested in what might occur if the prickly plant should shoot at it.
적당히.
It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent,
저걸 찔러서
whilst it is
고정시켜야 되나?
opened, it will reveal a little more. I am interested in what might occur if the prickly plant should shoot at it. No reaction.
안 되네.
It appears to open after being soaked with. This plant seems to have had no reaction from the caterpillars.
아, 가시를.
Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary. The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
그러면은 석상?
Let us take our caterpillars to the colonial collection room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there.
석상이
Let us
떨어져서
investigate Kew Gardens one more time
치고
and ask some questions.
건드려가지고 가스 뿜고 그거 마시고 어느 정도 잡히는데 그러면은 이게 뭐였더라? 해미씨네 얘. 아니야, 해미씨가 뭐 자기 석상이라고 해도 자기가 뭐 안 그랬을 수도 있지. 뭐야 이거? 애비 그레인지 저택 사건은 상류층에서 여지껏 회자되는 이야깃거리다. 구원자들 사이에서 인기를 끌었다. 허나 브레큰스톨 부인과 하녀 테레사는 도움을 거절하고 형을 살아가고 있다. 아, 명성과 재산. 나보고 어쩌라고 이거. 어쨌거나 살인은 나쁜 거야. 아쉽지만. 아니면은 안 걸리게 그냥 깔끔하게 죽이던가. 여기 갈 때만 오래 걸리네.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious. Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of something, or
라이시 모시기?
Pontus.
레오콘
No,
거시기?
wait.
그게 뭐야?
Oh, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh, my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity